The reason why Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso exist from ECOWAS is because the core value of ECOWAS has not been realized for some years now. Rather, it has been a league of some big men, big position. So it has become a league of big men, whereby they don't seek the affairs of the state, ECOWAS state, but rather they seek the affairs of themselves by greedy in quotes. Let's take a look at Guinea. When Guinea was under President Conte, let's take a look at Togo currently. President Ford Yadema has served more than 3 terms and is still in power. Let's look at Nigerian election last year. See how it was hijacked. Let's take a look at Ghanaian election in 2020. Let us see what went on. Now the people have seen that France has been exploiting them for long. So there's a urgent need whereby they manage their own affairs and their own minerals themselves. How can this is greedy? This is greedy to a high greediness to A plus, whereby France, after governing and also so-called colonizing a certain member state of African Union or colonizing a lot of countries. This is mostly pertaining to African countries, whereby they sign that everything must be done by France. If they have a project, road, building, anything, it must done by France. France must be the first bidder. France must, if they have resources, must ex- ex- extract their resources, sell it at their own dispense of their own capital, their own money. Then will now give the France will now determine how much will be given to the country. This is a greed. This is a high court greed of highest order. And I think there should be France should be sued for that. The greed is getting too much, whereby you have exploited a lot of African countries for long, and now you are still doing, they should sign, and you have made most African countries poorer and poorer. Every year, France made over 500 million dollars from Africa colony alone. Why? France print currency which is called franc, West African francs and what have you. And if the need arises, you want to borrow, you want to lend money, France will lend it to you at a higher interest. Apart from that, all the buildings owned by France, built by France before they left the country post independence, are being still paid for. They are still rated out to their country, those French countries, and they are still paying for it. So if France supports you, then you still be in seats. You still be after your 10 years term, you still be seat. That's the problem. That's why Ford President Ford is still of Togo is still the president after 3 terms. Let's look at Senegal right now. What is happening in Senegal right now? And I'm calling on ECOWAS as a matter of urgency. Something must be done about Senegal case because we have been keeping quiet and things are getting out of hands. We should not wait until things get out of our hands in Senegal before we start mobilizing resources, mobilizing soldiers to go and do peacekeeping. It's getting too much, and I'm calling on ECOWAS chairman, who is President Tinubu, to do something right now because enough of this is enough. Because one, the reason why Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger left the ECOWAS is because the value of ECOWAS is no more, as I once stated in my previous video, whereby we have a league of big men who we acclaim that we are practicing democracy. After a period of 10 or 8 years, you exit office, but we like to tune the constitution to their taste to go for the third term, like the president of Ivory Coast did, and people died. President Ahmed Utara did, Hassan Utara rather, Hassan Utara did, and is in the third term right now. And the favor, once France favor you, you always be on that seat. Enough of all this, because it's high time we have chosen democracy. If we see democracy, in my next video I'll be speaking more about democracy. Democracy is our own kind of democracy is not the best. The democracy was actually imposed on us by the West. Take a look at Britain, France. Take a look at their own democracy. And take a look at our own democracy. We must create our own democracy to suit our us. Let's take a state study from China. China, they have a communist state, and I think it's very good for we Akabulans, this is Africa. We should study China's democracy and we see how we can adopt it. These 8 years, it may not be good for some countries. Like Ghana, 8 years, Nigeria, 8 years. We should find a way whereby we can adopt our own democracy that will suit us. Or this democracy we are practicing, it is a scam. It has been another set of slavery, because this democracy we're not benefiting. In most of this democracy, we're not benefiting. It is rather the president and the ministers of most states in Akabula that are benefiting. There must be urgent change. Our African Union, Kwame Nkrumah said we should have one currency, one army. We should trade among ourselves, which we have started, African continental trade. But why is it that it is hard to take decisions that will benefit our own state? When there's a trouble somewhere, we keep quiet and we allow our brothers and sisters to kill ourselves before we start acting. African Union, it's time for us to wake up. I don't know whether you are being manipulated by the West. That's why most of the times you don't talk. Or we wait until